Hmm. Hello everyone. If you can let me know that you can see me, hear me, and see and hear Ableton up here. That'd be great. So if someone can let me know, that'd be amazing. Okay, mate, that's good news. Okay, so it's all good. Okay, so last masterclass we started building this house beat using samples and simpler and drum rack and slicing, some samples to MIDI, and also using some of the core kits in Ableton. So I'm going to take a similar approach to creating some bass lines and melodies today. I'm going to use simpler, and we're going to extract some individual samples off some loops. We're going to use probably some instruments in Ableton as well, and we're going to use some of the MIDI effects as well to get what we want. So first thing that I'm going to go for is I'm going to go for a bass line. So I'm going to create a MIDI channel here. And this is going to be our bass. Now I'm going to go through a bunch of standard loop kits here, and I'm going to find a loop with a nice bass sound in it somewhere. So there's a bass loop. I quite like this one. It's quite a strong bass line. So I'm just going to get the MIDI channel here and double click on the top where it says drop an instrument or sample here. I'm going to drop this in there. And I'm just going to, like we did before, make sure that I've got one note there, and I'm going to dial this up here, and I'm going to put C3 on here. I'll just get this looping for now. Now, when we sample to a sampler, by default, whatever we've sampled goes onto C3 on the keyboard. So the way that we're going to actually tune this sample is we're going to find out what it's playing when we're triggering C3 on our keyboard, and then we're just going to tune it up and down the amount of semitones to just make sure it's playing C. I'm not too bothered if it's a few octaves out or it's an octave or two out. That doesn't really bother me for the purpose of this, but I want to make sure it's playing C. So I'm going to go to my audio effects, and I'm going to grab tuner. I'm going to drop that in front of the sample there, and hopefully I'm going to get a readout. So that is A. So if I want to tune A to C, then I need to go into the control of the sampler in classic mode and start bringing that down or up till I reach C. So I've hit +3 semitones in there. And now, when we hit C3 on the keyboard or hit any note, it's going to play the right note. So now I'm going to make a bass line. Let's have it with the kick. Easy rolling bass line there. We've got those drums really crunchy here, so maybe I'll dial some of that back. Okay, so that's quite quite a classic house bass line there. And now what I'm going to do is I want to play everything in this. I'm going to do this track in A minor. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my MIDI effects and I'm going to go to scale. And I'm going to go to minor here. I'm just looking for the minor scale, the standard minor scale. Where are you? They've changed it around. It used to be in D minor. Okay, so I'm just going to type in minor here, find it in here. Okay, so C minor. Okay, that's a good start. And I'm going to change the bass note here to A, because I don't want it in C minor, I want it in A minor. Okay, so that bass line's working for me. Now I'm going to use the filter in simpler to give it a nice little bit of change of the sound. Turn the resonance up, maybe turn that down there like that, and let's have a listen. So no filter, filter. Quite a nice, strong, simple bass line, which is what we need really. Okay, so next let's go for another melodic element. So I'm just going to have a little butchers through my loops again and see what I can find. Let's see what we got. I'm just going to get maybe more of a melodic loop, music loop. Let's see what we've got. That's nice. That's more of a classic chord sound. Another chord, which would be nice actually. The problem with chords is they're going to be harder to tune in the sampler. But you can hear there's loads of great sounds that we can find here. Okay, so let's try that. See if we can tune that one. So I'm going to create a new MIDI track here. And now I'm going to drop this into my MIDI track here. And then I'm just going to isolate one of these. And remember how important it is to get the exact beginning of the sample here. So I'm just dropping into here, and then I'm just going into here now. And I'm going to play this at C3, see what this sounds like. Okay, and once again I'm going to do exactly the same as I did last time. Just going to grab this here, and I am going to tune it. So I'm going to grab a tuner for my audio effects here. Okay, so what we have now, it's not picking up the notes, so I think it's probably D. It's showing up D, slightly D, so let's try that. Gonna there we go. So I think we've got about a C then, and then I'm just gonna put a melody into here. Okay, so I'm going to scrap that. I'm not really feeling that melody. Maybe I'm going to go a bit lower. Okay, so right now, not feeling those melodies, so maybe it's time to start using the arpeggiator. So I'm going to go into my MIDI effects again. I'm going to put this C minor on there, make sure that we're in, let's go into A minor here, like that. There we go. And now I'm going to get an arpeggiator. It's a good tool. The arpeggiator is a good tool for creating rhythmic things. I'm going to go to 16th on here. 1/16. I'm just going to draw a long note in here like this. And then what I've done, I've created a loop separately from the start and the end point. So now when I play this, it's going to carry on looping indefinitely. And now I can mess around with the arpeggiator. The arpeggiator settings. So I'm changing the timing here. Let's have a little listen. So we're getting a nice arpeggiated, we're just arpeggiating that sequence there. At the moment it's just one note, so actually I'm going to play a chord with that note. I'm going to grab a chord here and I'm going to use one of the minor chords here. Going to drop that in, and now it's going to play 3 notes at the same time. And it's going to sound very different if we put it before or after the arpeggiator. I'm going to put the scale after the arpeggiator, and the chord, just to make sure that we're still in scale. Going to change the style of the arpeggiator. Okay, I quite like that. Once I put a filter on that, and some reverb, a little bit of delay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little bit of automation into the clip. So I'm going to get the filter frequency there, which is like that, and I'm going to unlink the clip to separate the length of the automation from the length of the pattern that I've put in. I'm just going to put a little bit of nice filter automation in there. So we've got So that's good. I like that. I'm happy with that. So let me turn all the solos off. And now I'm going to add a chord stab. We're making some quite classic house here. So next I'm just going to go for something that's kind of in analog. So let me go into my instruments here. And I'm going to go for something that's a bit stabby. So let's go for analog synth lead. Not really feeling that. Okay, we could use that. Maybe. Let's have a little listen to. Not feeling that either. Maybe, but let's go to synth method. Okay, that works for me. The nice analog stab there. So I'm going to create a new MIDI track here, and I'm going to use the chorder again. This chord thing's very easy for creating simple chords, and once again I'm going to put just a one note stab in there. And I'm going to try putting some different chords in there, see what happens. So let's try our MIDI effects chord. Let's go for house to go, classic house stab. See how that sounds. Okay, maybe a little bit crazy. The problem is I think that what we've got here, we've already got a chord. So that could be. And that works nicely. Nice, classic. Once again, I'm going to grab, this time I'm going to use an auto filter to put over the top of that. I'm going to grab an auto filter like this. Getting a little bit of clipping, so I'm going to turn that down. And then I'm going to do a similar thing in here. I'm going to go to the automation. I'm going to unlink it, so I'm separating the length of my MIDI track from, or the clip from the length of the automation. I'm going to make this really long this time, and I'm going to have a stab that rises up over time. Sorry, wrong thing. Filter frequency there. Unlink. Let's make it really long again. I'm just going to have a stab that rises up like this. So I'm making this stab change over time. So that could work. Okay, so next I'm just going to add some pads. So I'm just going to search for a preset now. Find a nice pad sound that we can use. Okay, so I'm going to use that again, and I'm just going to double make sure that everything coming out of here is in key on that stab. But first let's create MIDI track. Something that's quite handy that you can do is if you've got an instrument that's set up how you want it, so this one's set up on A minor here, I can just grab that instrument here, select it, and then Command and C if it's selected. And I should be able to just drop that into here by selecting in between there and going Command V. I thought that didn't grab it then. So there we go, Command C on that, and then drop that in here. There we go, and I'm going to put that after the scale. So now we've got, and let's do that nice pad sequence here. Once again, I'm going to probably use a chord, or maybe I'll use a single note. Let's hear how this pad sounds. Okay, so let's do a really simple pad sequence starting at A. And then I'm just going to duplicate this loop out. So we've got 4 bars. Going to play around with the sound there. Maybe go look for a string instead. Maybe I'll just go for a 1-note string, actually. It's going to sound better, I think, here. Let's go like this. And let's make this 1 note. Okay, so we've got some elements now that we can start building into a track. I mean, they're a little bit raw, but they all seem to be in key and working with each other. And, you know, it's the beginning of an idea of a track, I think. So now I'm just going to save that, and that is going to be how we would start, or how, if we didn't have any kind of musical knowledge, and we didn't play anything live, then we can start using the tools in Ableton to start building something in a certain key or scale. It's also a good way of extracting individual samples from loops. There's loads of great loops out there, so once we start putting it together, you can hear we'll just start getting something that sounds like a track. Okay, so now I'm just going to name those elements that I've put together now. This is going to be my bass. This one here is going to be my arp. That's already called analog stab, and that's already called synth string, so we can keep them as they are. And now I'm just going to save this again, actually. Now it's time for you guys to start asking me questions. It's really just about asking questions now. Yeah, when changing key. Yes, that's a brilliant question. Yeah, you can record the output of the arpeggiator to a new MIDI clip. So you do that by, I'll show you how to do that quickly. So we've got the arpeggiator here. What I do is I just set up a MIDI channel next to it. So I go create MIDI track here. Then I want to see the in out of this MIDI track here, like this. So I'll just shrink this down here. So that goes MIDI in from, and then I can select the MIDI in from ARP there, like that. And then I just arm that channel like that, and just press play it on there, hit record there. And then all the notes that come out of the arpeggiator are recorded in to this track here, and then you can just literally just copy the instrument from the above channel. So nothing else, just the instrument. You don't want to copy like the arp or anything like that again. So I'm just going to grab the instrument there. So Command and C again. Drop that into this channel here. Like that. And then when I listen to this channel back, solo it, I have the notes here, and I can edit as I want. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Okay, so Maya, can you explain this again? You're talking about when changing key, do, and then you say sound gets warped, and how do you fix it if your computer free? Sorry, I don't understand the question too much. Can you just elaborate on it a little bit, please? Maya, are you there? Yeah, I mean you can change keys whenever you want in the track. You can automate your scale if you're running your scale, and you can change your keys that way. So if you did want to change your key, you could do it in the track using scale as well. So it depends how you want to do it. If you don't know the notes and you want a key change, you just automate the scale MIDI MIDI effect. Does that make sense? You have to excuse me today. I had a wisdom tooth extracted yesterday, and it's messing me up a little bit today. I've got to be honest. Yeah, okay, so that's how you do it. If you wanted to use different keys and you still wanted to use the scale MIDI plugin, you just automate it. So I could do that here. So if I was changing key and I wanted to go from A minor to D minor in this arp, I could do this, look. So look. So you see that? Now I've got the bass there, and if I unlink this, let's say that we're going to make this 4 bars, or let's say that we're going to make it very long actually, and then I wanted to change my key. here, I would select the draw tool, and I'll probably put this to a nice 8 bars there, and then I'm just going to turn the key down there. So that's going to be, now that's going to be in G minor, so that's going to go from A minor to G minor there, listen. Remember, we could go to another key there. It's going to go to F minor now. There we go, nice key change there. We'll go to D minor here. Remember, we're going to go to C minor, and then back up to A minor there. How to automate key changes. Pretty cool, no? I've deleted that, and now we're back at our original key, A minor. And you could also automate so you could go from C minor to major chord, to a major key if you wanted to. You just have to go into where am I? Minor Tim, and then you could change the actual chord as well if you wanted. So yeah, I mean the key as well. So you could go from minor to major to whatever you wanted to do, I suppose. I'm not sure how you do that. That's a good point. Maybe you can't do that in that. You'd have to automate different devices on and off to do that. So that would be a little bit more complicated, but you could do it as well. You can pretty much do anything you want. Hopefully that was a good explanation of how to do it. Okay, so you added automation to a clip and pushed the loop unlink button. What did they do? Right, so when you separate the length of the automation from the length of the clip, that means that you could have a 1 bar clip, but you could do your automation over 16 bars if you wanted. If you don't have the unlink feature, or if you didn't have the unlink feature, if you had a 1 bar clip, your automation would have to be 1 bar as well. But with the link feature, you can have your automation length separate from the length of your clip. So you could have a 1 bar pattern, a 1 bar bassline, and you could have a filter sweep happening over 16 bars if you wanted. Hopefully that explains it and makes it a little bit clearer for you. Good, I'm glad it does, Andrew. Yeah, okay, so we can copy the automation from clip to clip without the MIDI note. So sorry, wrong place. On Facebook. Definitely shouldn't be on Facebook during a masterclass. So there we go. Um, so yeah, if I want to copy some automation, then I literally just have to make sure that I've got this hit here and I'm in the automation page. So where have we done some automation? I think we did some on the bass. Did we do it on the bass? There we go. Let's check. Go into the clip there. Oh, we didn't. Sure, we did something on the filter on the bass. Okay, we definitely did it on the arp then. Okay, so there we go. There's my filter frequency. I just literally grab that, and then if I want to apply it to something else, I can put that automation on anything else. So I could put it on my bass. I could copy the automation from. Just go from the filter frequency from there. If I unlink that as well, make that really long, I could just dump that automation into there. See, it's just copied the automation in, and now I have the automation from the frequency of my ARP now overlaid onto the automation of the frequency of my bass. So that's quite handy actually. So yeah, that's how you do that. It's a little bit different in the arrange page, but we're focusing on session view at the moment. We'll talk about how to do it in the arrange page a little bit later. Okay, so we've still got 15 minutes left, so I'm sure you've got some questions for me, guys. I'm sure some of you got some questions. Come on, people. Oh, that's great news. I'm glad you've learnt a lot, man. We're just going to have to hang out then, because we've still got 10 minutes left. If anyone thinks of a question, I'm here waiting for you. Okay, guys. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching and tuning in, and I'll catch up with you soon in our um, next masterclass, or actually in our one-to-one for some of you next week. So take it easy, people, and I'll see you soon.